Hey guys, so today I thought that I would mix it up a little bit and do a little like video blog for you, as I feel like what I want to have a chat about may be too long for a blog, especially like maybe not a lot of you have the concentration or actually want to bother reading a really long blog. You have to excuse my environment. I'm currently in my unbuilt sensory cabin my parents haven't built for me. It's going to be like a little shack that I can come down in and be creative in my own space, because I kind of like associate my bedroom with anxiety, as that's where I go when I have an anxiety attack, and that's where I always like at night time I'm really anxious. So I wanted a separate place where I could come and like try to relax and try to unassociate my bedroom with fear and anxiety. Yeah, so that's why I'm here, so excuse the birds chirping and the wind blowing, but you know, just pretend we're in a rural outback. But anyway, yeah, I wanted just to have a quick chat with you rather than blogging it, because I feel like some of these things may come across better, you know, with me speaking about it, as they are quite touching, like things that I've learned in my ADHD awareness course. Some of them are really amazing, and the child psychology parts are like incredible. You really do like see to learn about some of the ways in which our brain actually works. And yes, I do have ADHD and I am struggling to do this, but because I'm so interested in it and my future business goals that I want to like create are based around, you know, children with ADHD, autism and some type of like SEN issues, I want to learn as much as possible, so that I can try and help as many young people as I can, and also I want to help you guys. Like, I've built a community and I just really want to be passionate enough to help you, and bring you some of my own personal experiences, because I know that, you know, sometimes a doctor, yes, they can prescribe drugs and they can give you a formal diagnosis, but I do strongly believe that sometimes they don't actually know how it feels unless they have it, and it can come across really patronising. I know, because I've been to the doctors recently, and it's just, you tell them how you feel and it's almost like you're being belittled. Anyway, that's my doctor anyway, but I just always feel that I'm not understood. So that's what I want to be, you know. I want to be like a role model. I want to be able to, you know, articulate some of my feelings and emotions, so that maybe a child could, you know, understand it and say, yeah, mum, that's how I feel, or yes, dad, that's how I feel. So yeah, and hopefully along the journey that we're taking, maybe, you know, I can meet some of you guys and we can actually have a chat. But you know, let's get started on this. I really want your opinion as well on some of the statements I'm going to read you, because I think they're so interesting. But anyway, let's get on. Right, so I was reading this part that I've been learning about, is the diagnosis process, and there was one part that stuck out for me, and it was really like, I thought, whoa, you know, that really touched my heart, because I thought, that actually explains a lot how I feel, you know, and I feel like this could be quite beneficial for people in the education, like, career, maybe some parents as well, you know, and it says, all behaviour is a form of communication. Sometimes children who are extremely anxious or who have been through some type of trauma, they may act out rather than like talking, because they can't articulate how they feel, so their behaviour then begins to deteriorate, which I think is the most true fact I have ever read about ADHD. You know, it doesn't explain what or how it feels, no, don't get me wrong, it doesn't, but it really does kind of like give a true meaning and a true definition of sometimes why we act out, and some of the reasons behind our like disruptive behaviour or like aggressive behaviour, because I feel like a child, when they're young, when they're like 2 or 3 or 4, when they're quite young, like a toddler, young age, infant age or whatever, I don't really know what age I'm going on about here, but like probably less than 6 years old, I feel like when they get a little bit older, they kind of start to understand their feelings a little bit more. But when they're really young, I feel like it must be so confusing. Like, I can remember, you know, always wondering, why aren't I invited to I don't know, Chloe's birthday party and everybody else is? Or why is everyone else playing on the playground and I'm always on my own? Or why am I always stood with the dinner ladies? It was always like questions like that, and I mean, I can remember that, and I must have been about 4 or 5. So it really is, and I can remember being maybe a bit spiteful or coming home and taking it out on my younger sister, or like, you know, because in a way it was my way of communicating, because I just felt alone, and I didn't have anybody or know why. I didn't know why I felt like that, or even know how I felt. So I can really, like, I can really feel where that's coming from, that statement, and I can really believe, and I'm truly like, I believe it, because that must be the reason for some of our behaviours. Like, if we don't get our own way, it's because, you know, our impulsive traits or our obsessive traits, you know, we want something and we want to be in control, not because we're being aggressive or nasty. It's just, that's how our mind works, and we communicate via our actions and our behaviour. And I feel like in some schools, you know, a child may be very anxious, it may be embarrassed that it doesn't understand the subject, so their behaviour naturally becomes like distracting, disruptive. It naturally happens, you know. Anxiety can come in all different types. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to be depressed and crying all the time. It can come out in impulsiveness, hyperactivity. And when I read that statement and that fact, I just thought, wow, like I can really like bond with that. Like I really understand that, and I feel what they mean by that. So yeah, that was one of the things I wanted to touch on, because I really believe that communication does come from behaviour, because whatever you're feeling, you do try to communicate, because sometimes you just don't know how you feel. Well, I do anyway. I sometimes get a feeling and I think, well, I'm not happy, but I'm not sad, and it's like a feeling that I don't actually know. You know, I don't have there's no name in the dictionary that would tell me how I feel, and it is sometimes really hard, and it's so overwhelming. It's like an overwhelming feeling that is like, what do I feel? Like, am I meant to feel like this? And sometimes it gets you so wound up and frustrated. That's when the negative behaviour like happens, because deep down you don't know what's going on, and it can be quite scary and quite a lonely situation sometimes. And like some children, I mean, Christ, they must be so scared and like confused themselves. I mean, it must be horrid. I mean, thankfully, when you grow up, you hardly remember like your infant years, your young years, because you kind of like block them out, don't you? And you just start to remember memories that shape who you are today rather than your infant. So, well, that's how I hope anyway. I hope that's how everyone, I don't ever want anyone to feel, you know, shitty because of their ADHD, but you know, it has many benefits as well, ADHD. And I'll do another, either a blog or a vlog or whatever you want to call this type of thing, down the line. You have to let me know if you like this type of blog. It's only because if I write it, it's going to be really long and I don't really want to bore you guys. But yeah, another thing that I was going to have a chat to you about was, hang on a minute, it was the types of ADHD, because I put something on my blog page, didn't I, a few days ago, that kind of people were like, I have ADHD, I didn't know there was any other types. So I wanted to just touch up on that thing. Here it is. Right, so there are 3 types of ADHD. There's the inattentive type, the hyperactive / impulsive type, and then you've got the combined type, which is the inattentive, obviously, the hyperactivity and the impulsiveness all wrapped up in one. I don't know if that's the worst, I'm not sure, but that's what I've got. I've got the combined type, and the hyperactive and the impulsive type and the inattentive type, they're separate, but I think they're less common, because the combined type is the most common type of ADHD. But I'll read you like a little definition of what each of them are. So inattentive, you're unable to pay attention, but you do not have the hyperactivity or the impulsiveness traits. So you're just like, you can't focus and concentrate. So, but you're not hyper or impulsive. I mean, I don't know if that's the only things that you don't have. But I'll go into, I've got some more pages on here that I'll read you in a minute. But these are just a brief definition. So the hyperactive and the impulsive ADHD, you're able to pay attention, but they are hyperactive and impulsive. So you can like pay attention when you're really interested, and you get really like obsessed and really involved in something like video games. For some people are really into video games. I'm really into drawing, and I can focus and concentrate for the whole day. You know, the whole time I'm awake, I could literally be just staring at the screen, and I won't blink. I'll forget to eat and drink, but I'll become so hyper focused that the day just like blinks by. Which is, I mean, it's good sometimes, but other times, I mean, yeah, I don't eat or drink and then I have a banging headache and it just gets, crazy. But yeah, I mean, it's a good thing really if you think about it. You don't have to do homework to the last minute because you can just hyper focus on it and get it all done. You know, there's benefits. So the combined ADHD, like I say, is what I've got. This is the ADHD type whereby it contains a mixture of impulsiveness, hyperactivity and inattentive traits. So what I'm going to do is just read you a little thingy of, hang on a moment, I've got a list of the most common traits for ADHD. Got it. So the most common traits, they say, are so it says the list of possible symptoms of ADHD is very long and complex. Everybody has different experiences with ADHD, which is, you know, obvious, because what I'm impulsive about or what I get angry and worked up over and triggered by might not necessarily be what you or your child gets triggered by. So, you know, to me that's quite obvious, but to other people it's not. You know, they just assume everybody with ADHD is the naughty child, or they are loud and boisterous. But some people don't really actually understand that it's so complex. There's so, you know, it's a huge diagnosis. You're not all just like part of one little circle. There's like thousands of branches off of ADHD, and no one's really, I mean, I don't know what the chances are of people having the exact same like traits, personality things, you know, like all different, being like impulsive of the same things, obsessed with the same things. I really highly doubt that there's no one out there that hates socks or doesn't like their sandwiches cut in triangles like me, you know. No, I mean, that's just, to me that's strange, but I mean there's other people out there that, you know, they do, but they probably won't be triggered by some of the stuff that I'm triggered by. I mean, if you are, inbox me, because I need to know what's going on in our heads, because why don't I like socks? I don't have a clue. I don't understand that myself. But anyway, so some of the traits that they say are most common are constantly making careless errors. I mean, I do that, and I also think a lot of people do that regardless of ADHD, but yeah, I constantly make careless mistakes. I'll be writing a blog and my mum's like, instead of putting like heart, I'll put fart or something, and I don't, like, I'm just writing it and it's just like, oh god, it's meant to say heart, but because my autocorrect, I don't read it, I just literally write it out, and then I don't even bother reading my blog after I've wrote it, because I can't be bothered, you know. I can't read long things, like my brain just hasn't got that capability or the capacity to even bother doing it. So if there's any weird spelling mistakes, you know, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. But anyway, right, so being consistently disorganised, that is me to a T. You'll say, Molly, be here for 10 o'clock, and I'll be like, yeah, sure, and then I'll aim to get up for like 8:30 to give myself enough time to wash my hair, do this, do that. Yeah, I'll get up at 9:30, maybe even 20 to 10, sorry, and I'll be like, oh, I won't bother doing this, I can't be bothered. And then I want to do it at the last minute. I'm like, oh god, I have to wash my hair. So like, I'm always like half an hour late or something, because I just leave things to the last minute and I'm never organised. You know, I should probably wash my hair the night before, or have a shower the night before, or, you know, get what I need ready for the day of doing something the night before. But I don't. I just, for some reason, I aim to do these good things that will make my life easier and my family's life easier. But I just can't do it, you know. To me, I sometimes think to myself, am I lazy, or like why can't I simply follow a routine? Why can't I do something correctly, you know? Like just something, you know, like brushing your teeth. to me, that is a chore, you know. I forget every single day. And my mum has to remind me, or like, Molly, have you done this? Have you done that? And I'm like, oh. Then I'll be like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. And it never happens. And like, having a bath and a shower, or a shower, is just, oh my God. It's like you're asking me to commit mass murder or something. I'm so like, oh, do I have to, you know? I feel like it's such a pressure and a chore. I just feel like it's such a hard work, but all it really is running a bath and sitting in it. But to me, it's like, oh, do I have to? Because I think it's quite depressing. It makes me really depressed having a bath or a shower. I don't know why. It's just not something that I enjoy, so I always try to put it off. And then, you know, then everyone's like, Molly, go have a bath. And then everyone gets aggy at me because I'm just like sitting around in the same clothes I was wearing yesterday, and it's just like, you're meant to be a girl, Molly. Like, what's your problem? I just struggle with like personal hygiene. That's a really big issue with me. Not that I'm dirty or anything like that, or smell. It's just keeping up with it, you know. It's a chore rather than something simple, like a daily thing I should do. It, to me, it comes as like a chore, and it's sometimes it drives me crazy because I just want to do it and I want to be like normal, but other times I just think, oh, whatever, and I just don't do it, and it doesn't just drive me crazy, it drives everyone crazy. And me being organised is well out the window. It's never going to happen. Again, I just touched on this one, but like being forgetful, I'm always forgetful. Easily distracted. I think this video confirms I am easily distracted. I mean, I've probably looked over there about 50 times, looked over there 5 times, and then I'm reading things and I'm like, oh yeah, and then my conversations change, so I'm quite easily distracted. What else? Fidgeting, playing with clothing. I don't know if I do it a lot. I mean, I don't ever twirl my hair. I mean, I do this a lot with my hair, but that's because my roots are bad. But fidgeting a lot with my, like, I move my feet and my legs a lot. Like I have restless legs and I hate it, and I always have to move my legs. And when I'm talking, I'm quite like, I move my hands quite a lot. So I don't know if that's classed as fidgeting. I'm not sure. That noise is really annoying. I don't know what it is, but it's really bugging me. Being clumsy, yeah, always got bruises everywhere, and I'm like, how did I get that? But it's because I like run around and I'm just so like heavy-footed, you know, and I'm just like, oh. And people are like, Molly, why can't you walk nicely up the stairs? But I'm like an elephant. I like, rather than like, I just like stamp up the stairs, and everyone's like, yeah, Molly's here. Frequently losing belongings, yeah, all the time. And I'm like, Mum, where did you put it? Dad, Maisie, where did you put it? And they're like, it's your phone. I haven't touched it. And I'm like, yeah, you probably have, but I just forget. And then I'm like, oh yeah, sorry, it's in my back pocket. And I'm just so like flimsy with things. I'm just like, But poor listening skills. If I'm interested in what you're talking about, so be it, I'll listen. Other than that, no, it's out the window. And I'll just be staring at you, like thinking like, what am I having for dinner today? And I'll just be looking at you and just thinking, what are you talking about? And I'm not interested. That's literally me. I'm not rude with it though. I'm not a rude person. I do generally listen. Like if someone wants to talk to me, confide in me, absolutely, I'll listen. But if they're talking about games or like something that I'm really not interested in, I really do like struggle to like pay attention. And I'm like, sometimes I do say, can you shut up? If it's my sister or my dad, I'm just like, shut up, I don't want to know. I don't mean to, but in my head I'm just like, oh, you're making noise, and it starts to really infuriate me. But yeah, there's loads. Look, there's loads of symptoms. I don't want to bore you with them because the majority of people will understand and know. But another one, like I want to say, is social awkwardness. That is 1000% me. Going out never happens for me. I've never been clubbing. I don't drink alcohol. I mean, it's really good for me that I don't drink alcohol or do drugs. I mean, that's amazing. To me, it's an achievement, and I'm proud of myself. I wouldn't do it anyway, but when I was growing up, I used to think, oh my God, I've never done this, I've never done that, my friends do this. And I just think, why have I never done that? You know, and I've always used to think, oh Molly, you're just weird. But it's not, because I am socially awkward. I don't like going out. Like, I don't like people. I know it sounds funny, but I really don't like people. I just prefer dogs and my family, and I struggle with other people. I don't know, like I find it hard to understand their intentions. I can't look at people in the eye. I can't even look at this camera. I feel like I'm looking too much and I'm looking away and I'm just like, I need to like glue my head so I'm just staring at you. But yeah, basically all I was really saying, I don't even know what I was saying actually, I've forgotten. What was I even saying? Oh yeah, about like social awkwardness. I'm just an awkward person. I don't like people touching me. I really don't like people hugging me. So I can't, like some of these, like, all these traits are me, you know. I'm very impatient. I do say inappropriate things, like I just said. I do tell people to shut up a lot. I'm not interested. But I'm not horrible, if you know what I mean. It's really hard to justify. I'm not horrible with it. I'm just blunt sometimes. But yeah, I just don't understand people's intentions. That's why I'm socially awkward. I just don't understand people. I seem to always go for a type of friend or boyfriend. I always go for the arseholes. And I'm not joking, like that are horrible people. And they always turn out to like be nasty. And they use me for things. And I just think, well, what was the point in that, you know? Not only did you waste your own time, you wasted my time and you hurt me. Like, I don't understand. This is why I choose not to have a best friend, because, but even if I wanted a best friend, I can't get any friends. I can't make friends. But even if I wanted a best friend, I don't think I'd want one now, because I feel like right now I don't understand myself, so I don't know how anyone would understand me. And no one ever makes effort with me either, you know. I always think like, oh yeah, I'm going to stay in touch with that person because I really like them. And then I'm always the one like talking to them rather than them making effort with me, and it can get really like upsetting actually. And then you feel like you're being, you know, too obsessive or possessive. I think it's possessive. But like you start like, and I just think I don't want people to think I'm a weirdo, because I'm not. So I stop talking and then I lose a friend. But you know, it's me. I can't change that. And I know some of you will struggle with that as well, and we can't help it. It's just us. So what else do I want to tell you about? I didn't know whether you wanted to know some of, hang on, there's a page. I can't say the word, so I'll have to literally like, I'm going to have to, it's comorbid, comorbid, you know what it means? It's like reoccurring or co-occurring illnesses or conditions, that's the word, conditions that come with ADHD, because ADHD is often seen alongside other like mental health disorders or neurological disorders. So I don't know whether you'll be interested in that. I mean, I can read out some of them, but if you want me to do a blog on that, I'm totally up for that, because I find this part really interesting. I just wanted to tell you, where are they? Hang on a minute, we'll get there in a second. Here we go. So some of the linked ADHD conditions are anxiety, depression, autism, conduct disorder, and then in brackets PDA or ODD, I think it's known as, sensory processing disorder, dyslexia, dyspraxia, dysgraphia, dyscalculia, speech communication difficulties, Tourette syndrome and bipolar. Right, so I'm being tested at the moment. Well, I would have been being tested at the moment if it wasn't for COVID. I would be tested for autism, but now I'm waiting for an appointment to be assessed for autism. I really strongly believe that I have autism. After speaking to, I had to pay private, so I spoke to a private ADHD specialist after getting my diagnosis and starting the medication, the Elvance I'm on. We kept putting it up and up, like the medication dosage, but then we both like had a chat and we realised that we think there's like something a little bit more than just ADHD. I mean, I don't know how to explain it. I think I've explained it in a blog, but verbally I'm rubbish at communicating. This is why I'm finding this bit quite hard. I don't know how to explain to you how I feel with this bit. I'll try. All I mean with like autism, I know that there's something else wrong with me, because even though I'm on medication, there's traits of autism that are now more predominant, and they're coming through dominantly rather than my ADHD, I think, is my most dominant, I think, condition, if that makes sense. And if I have autism, I think it may be like mild, or I might have a bit of like Asperger's. I don't think I've got high function autism. I'm not sure though. I mean, either way, I don't care, because I'm who I am, and I can't change that. But I think, yeah, autism, I have a lot of trouble, like, you know, understanding people's body language, sarcasm, all the, you know, the stereotyped autism traits. I do generally have trouble with all of them. I can't talk on the phone to people. Communicating and like intentions, people's like, oh my god, body language, facial expressions, I find that really difficult. I don't know why. And if people like talk to me in a tone of voice, I find it hard to like determine whether they're angry at me or they're just angry in general, or, you know, I'm like, have I done something wrong? And I'm constantly saying sorry, because I think, oh god, have I upset that person? And I just find it hard. And eye contact is a huge issue for me. I mean, I used to get told off all the time in school, like when teachers used to talk to me like, why are you being so rude, you're looking over there but I'm talking to you, and I'm like, because you're making me feel uncomfortable, I can't look at you. But nobody understood that. They used to just think I was being a bitch, you know, stupid. But again, I didn't have a diagnosis. So for all my new viewers, I was only diagnosed last year at 21, but my ADHD has been present forever. Like, even when I was about 3 or 4, my parents said that all my traits were there. So my specialist determined that I was more than likely probably born, or it was hereditary, so that, you know, I was born with it. I've never known not to have ADHD, and I find it really hard, you know, when people say, oh, what is ADHD, it's hard to explain, isn't it? Because you can't just say my life, because ADHD isn't just my life as it is. Everyone has something different, and it's hard to determine, isn't it, sometimes. But there is some, oh, I'm so tired. There's something else I wanted to talk to you about. The neurological side of ADHD, I think, is so fascinating. Because I wanted to know, what I wanted to know, and I've googled it so many times, but there's no like definitive answer, which is really bugging me. Is ADHD classed as a disability or not? Like, is it? I don't know. Can you tell me? Because I don't know. Because every time, like, I struggle, I can't work. I mean, I'm currently employed by a company, but I was bullied so badly that I've now had to be off sick, but I'm not getting paid no longer. So really, I don't know if I'm employed or not. So I'm in a hard situation at the moment, but I'm not being paid, so I have no income. So I know that ADHD must be some type of disability, because I can't cope in situations, you know. It's a mental disability. I know it's not physical, but you know, that's what annoys me with things like that, because it's invisible. It's almost seen as, oh well, it's not important. But I think sometimes we struggle more than someone with a physical disability, because they can become confident because people can see their disability and they can learn to live with it, and people start to accept them for that. You know, they don't want to know. They don't just think about them because of their flaws or their disability, because they can physically see it. But with ours, you know, people look at us like we're being idiots, and like we're just, it's an excuse. That ADHD, oh, that's just an excuse, and it's not. But anyway, this is the whole reason for my blog. I'm trying to raise as much awareness as possible, because I feel like we aren't given enough credit, us with ADHD. I mean, and autism. I don't want people to think I'm anti-autism when I say this, but autism get a lot of awareness, but I feel like ADHD is always like pushed under the carpet, and it's kind of like, oh, you can function normally, you don't need help. But actually we do, and I believe that ADHD and autism, they're probably linked. Like they say on here, 80% of people that have ADHD have a co-occurring condition. So I mean, they must be linked somewhere. So ADHD and autism, why doesn't ADHD have as much awareness as autism? You know, why? I don't understand it. But anyway, whatever, I'm gonna get on with this. So when it says about the neurological, I wanted to know, like, how do they know? Like, how do they know if you've got ADHD or not? So yeah, so the neurological part, I was just really interested in, like, how do they like know what ADHD is? Like it says here, ADHD is normally noticed in school, at school age, and I know that isn't necessarily true, is it?